Close your eyes now, my sweet friend. Let the weight of the day melt away like soft candle wax, and allow my voice to wrap around you the quiet corners of your mind. Gentle, slow, warm, like a blanket woven from moonlight. Outside your window, the night is still. Perhaps a few tiny raindrops are beginning to tap against the glass, so soft, so rhythmic, like a distant marimba made of water. Listen to them. Let them carry you. Tonight we are going on a long, dreamy journey to the little Mexican village of Santa Cecilia, where marigold petals glow like scattered embers, and music is both forbidden and aching to be born. This is the story of Coco, the 2017 masterpiece by Lee Unkrich and Pixar, a story about remembering, about family, about the thin golden thread that keeps the dead alive inside our hearts. And I will tell you every single moment, every scent of copal incense, every shimmer of Alabrige spirit guides, every tear that falls like a quiet star. Nothing will be hidden from you tonight, because sometimes the deepest sleep comes when the heart feels completely seen. Breathe in slowly with me, hold, and breathe out. Feel your shoulders sink a little deeper into the pillow. Good. Before we step across that marigold bridge together, let me share the first little secret. When Lee Unkrich first pitched Coco to Pixar in 2011, he had just returned from Oaxaca during Dia de los Muertos. He stood in a cemetery lit only by thousands of candles, surrounded by families laughing and singing to their departed loved ones, and he cried, because he realized death in Mexico is not an ending but a continuation of love. That single night became the soul of the entire film. Isn't it beautiful how one moment of true feeling can birth something that comforts millions of sleepy hearts years later? Now let your mind drift even softer. Imagine the faint scent of warm pan de muerto, sweet bread dusted with sugar, still carrying the heat of the oven floating through the air. Somewhere far away, a guitar string is being tuned, just one soft pluck, lingering, vibrating, like a heartbeat that refuses to fade. Have you ever felt a memory so strongly that it almost had a smell, a temperature, a color all its own? Hold that feeling gently. We will need it tonight. You are safe here. You are loved here. And very soon, when the rain outside grows a little heavier, you will meet a 12-year-old boy named Miguel Rivera, who carries an entire galaxy of dreams inside his small chest, dreams that are about to pull him across the veil between worlds. Let the rain speak to you now, each drop a tiny marigold petal brushing your thoughts. Let my whispers become the breeze that moves through the ofrenda candles. There is no hurry. There is only this moment, and the next soft breath, and the one after that. When you are ready, truly ready, we will follow Miguel as he steps into the land of the remembered and the land of the forgotten. But for now, just rest against my voice. Feel how slow the words are falling, like velvet ribbons. Feel how every syllable is choosing to be kind to you. You do not have to hold on to anything tonight. Not the day, not the worries, not even your name if you don't want to. Just let the gentle rain and the gentle voice carry you, carry you, carry you. And whenever a tiny smile appears in the corner of your heart, know that somewhere a little boy with hopeful eyes is already reaching for a white guitar that does not belong to him yet, getting ready to change everything with one brave chord. But that is still a few dreams away. For now, there is only softness, only warmth, only the quiet promise that every soul you have ever loved is still listening when you remember them. Sleep is coming closer, like a loyal spirit guide with glowing wings. Let it find you. Let it wrap around you. We still have such a beautiful night ahead, but it can wait until you are perfectly floating, perfectly drifting, perfectly safe. Let us begin where every heartbeat in Santa Cecilia begins, in the warm, dusty courtyard of the Rivera family home, where the morning sun spills like melted butter over cracked adobe walls, and the air smells of fresh corn tortillas patting softly between Abuelita Elena's strong hands. Clap, clap, clap. The rhythm is steady, almost like a lullaby already. And little Miguel, barefoot and 12 years old, is hiding behind the wooden shoemaking bench, pretending to hammer a tiny nail into a sole while his ears are secretly tuned to the radio in the plaza. The announcer's voice floats in, honeyed and distant. And now, the legendary Ernesto de la Cruz singing his immortal classic, Remember Me. Miguel's eyes widen, dark and shining like polished obsidian. He mouths every word without sound, fingers drumming the melody on his knee. Because in this house music is the one forbidden fruit, more dangerous than the spiciest chile. Feel the heat of that sun on your own skin now, soft and golden, the way it warms the top of Miguel's messy black hair. Inhale the faint sweetness of marigold flowers that Mamá Coco, very old now, keeps in a cracked clay pot by her rocking chair. She sits there all day, tiny and fragile, her silver braid resting over one shoulder like a sleepy snake, humming fragments of songs no one else seems to remember. Sometimes her papery fingers trace the armrest as if it were piano keys. Miguel watches her the way you watch clouds that might become dragons, wondering what worlds are locked behind those milky eyes. Abuelita Elena moves through the house like a benevolent storm, wooden spoon in hand, scolding anyone who even hums. "No musica! Never again!" she declares, and the story tumbles out the way family stories do, patched together from whispers and sighs. How her grandmother, the great Imelda, was abandoned by her musician husband who chose songs over family. How Imelda picked up the pieces by learning to make shoes. How she swore her bloodline would never again be broken by a single treacherous chord. The band became sacred. The band became walls. And yet, late at night, when the house is asleep, Miguel creeps to the attic and uncovers his secret ofrenda to Ernesto de la Cruz. Old film reels, faded posters, a candle stub burning low. He presses his cheek to the cool plaster and whispers, "I'm going to be just like you, Ernesto. I'm going to make the world remember me." Have you ever had a dream so bright it hurt to hide it? A dream that felt like a second heartbeat pushing against your ribs every time someone said no? Let that ache settle gently in your chest tonight. Miguel and I will hold it for you so you can rest. The day of Dia de los Muertos arrives wrapped in orange and purple, marigold petals scattered like confetti from heaven. The plaza is alive with sugar skulls painted in swirling colors, pepple picado banners fluttering overhead like bright butterflies, the smoky sweetness of copal incense curling into the sky. Children laugh. Guitars are everywhere, except in the Rivera stall, where Abuelita stands guard with her chancla ready. Miguel helps arrange tiny leather shoes on the table, but his eyes keep drifting to the talent show stage being built in the distance. That night, the winner gets to perform in the Grand Plaza. That night, someone will be discovered. That night, Miguel decides, will be his night. Evening falls soft and warm. Lanterns glow. Families carry photos to their ofrendas, placing fresh pan de muerto, cempasúchil flowers, glasses of water for thirsty spirits. Miguel sneaks away to the cemetery, heart pounding like a drum he is not allowed to touch. There, in the mausoleum of Ernesto de la Cruz, the air is cool and hushed, smelling of candle wax and old stone. Ernesto's statue looms, guitar forever raised, that famous smile frozen in marble. Miguel kneels, lights a candle, and speaks aloud for the first time. Dear Ernesto, I know I'm not supposed to love music, but it's the only time I feel like I'm really breathing. Please, send me your blessing. He reaches out, trembling fingers brushing the cold strings of the legendary white guitar resting in the statue's hands. One pluck. Just one. The note rings out pure and silver, and the world tilts. Petals explode upward in a storm of gold. The cemetery spins. Miguel's stomach flips like he's falling from the tallest diving board. When everything settles, the graveyard is the same, but different. The dead are walking. A skeleton in a tattered charro suit tips his hat. A glowing alabriche jaguar pads past. And Miguel's own hands, oh, they are suddenly transparent, bones faintly visible beneath flickering flesh. He has crossed over. He is in the land of the dead on the one night the veil is thin, holding Ernesto de la Cruz's cursed guitar, and there is no way back until he finds a family member who can give him their blessing. A blessing that must include the words, with no conditions. The panic rises gentle and cold, like fog rolling in from a midnight river. But underneath the fear is something brighter, wonder. The sky is an endless twilight of violet and stars. Marigold bridges shimmer into existence. Somewhere, a lonely skeleton is strumming a broken guitar and singing in a voice cracked with sadness. That skeleton will soon have a name, and that name will change everything, but for now Miguel runs, bare feet slapping against cool stone, candle flames bowing as he passes, his breath coming in soft puffs that look like tiny spirits themselves. And you, dear listener, you are running with him, aren't you? Feel the petals brushing your cheeks. Feel the hush of ancestral eyes watching without judgment. Let the wonder wash away anything heavy you carried into this night. We are only just beginning, and already the air tastes like forgiveness. Come closer now, let my voice sink even softer, like warm honey sliding down the inside of a glass, slow, slow, slow. We are stepping across the glowing marigold bridge together, petal by petal, each one releasing a faint citrus scent that tickles the nose and makes the heart feel lighter. Beneath us, the river of golden light flows quietly, carrying forgotten memories like paper boats. Miguel's bare feet touch the petals and they feel like silk soft, almost damp as though they have just been kissed by morning dew. Ahead, the land of the dead rises in impossible layers. Trolley cars climbing vertical tracks, neon signs in elegant cursive spelling out names no living person has spoken in decades. And everywhere, skeletons in beautiful clothes, strolling, laughing, greeting each other with gentle clinks of bone against bone, the sound delicate like wind chimes made of porcelain. Miguel's breath catches, and yours can catch with him, softly. He spins in a slow circle, taking it all in. The towering Department of Family Reunions with its Art Deco windows glowing turquoise and rose. The street vendors offering sugar skulls that sparkle with edible glitter. The faint smell of chocolate abuelita and roasted corn drifting from carts. A skeleton mariachi bows to him, sombrero tilting, and strums a cheerful chord that makes Miguel's hidden musician heart leap, even while terror whispers, "You don't belong here. You're still alive. But the wonder is stronger, and he runs again, weaving between elegant skeleton ladies in 1920s flapper dresses and dapper gentlemen with perfectly knotted bow ties, all of them luminous, all of them kind. Then a joyful bark, frantic and familiar. Dante, his scruffy Xoloitzcuintli dog, comes barreling through the crowd, tongue lolling, eyes glowing green, completely unbothered by death. He leaps into Miguel's arms, licking his face with warm, wet, living dog enthusiasm, and for the first time since crossing over, Miguel laughs, a small, relieved sound that tastes like home. Dante has followed him across the veil the way only the most loyal spirit guides can. Feel Dante's rough fur against Miguel's cheek, the slight dog smell of earth and sunshine still clinging to him. Feel how love can be a bridge all its own. They hurry toward the grand plaza where spirits are lining up to have their faces scanned by cheerful officers in mid-century uniforms. Family blessing to return to the land of the living, please step forward. Miguel's stomach knots. He has no family here yet. He hides behind a pillar, heart beating like frantic maracas. And that is when he hears the voice, raspy, playful, tinged with endless sadness disguised as jokes. E-Y, E-Y. Calmate, calmate. You look like you've seen a ghost. Oh wait, a skeleton in a tattered straw hat and patched-up charro suit with frayed embroidery leans against the pillar, one foot crossed over the other, bones clicking softly. His face paint is chipped, his left eye socket slightly crooked, and he is missing several teeth, yet there is something instantly warm about him. Name's Héctor. Need help getting through customs, chamaco? Miguel stares because Héctor looks like someone who has been forgotten for a very long time. His ribs are visible through the tears in his shirt, his bones a gentle ivory color instead of bright white. He smells faintly of old guitar strings and river water. Miguel stammers that he needs a family member's blessing, and Héctor's painted eyebrows shoot up. Easy. I can get you to my family. They'll bless you, no problem. Only small favor in return. He holds up a crumpled photograph, himself holding a little girl on his shoulders, both of them laughing. The photo is creased and faded, edges soft as cloth. Just put my picture on an ofrenda before sunrise, see. I'm starting to fade, amigo. Final death is not great. His voice cracks on the last words, but he covers it with a too-wide grin. Have you ever met someone and felt, in the space between one heartbeat and the next, that your souls already knew each other? Let that gentle recognition settle behind your eyes now, like warm candlelight. Let it soothe every place that has ever felt lonely. Miguel agrees, because Héctor's sadness feels familiar, like the ache Miguel carries for the father he never knew. Together they sneak toward the Marigold Bridge checkpoint, Dante trotting happily. Héctor teaches Miguel how to make his bones glow brighter by thinking of happy memories. Watch how Héctor's ribs suddenly shimmer when he remembers a song. And Miguel tries, picturing his secret attic ofrenda, and his own bones flicker faintly. They almost make it through when a customs officer stops them. Héctor panics, grabs Miguel, and they sprint away, bones clattering, Dante barking into the neon-lit streets. They duck into a dark alley where glowing alabrijas perch on rooftops like guardian gargoyles. Héctor catches his non-existent breath. Okay, new plan. My friend Chicharron knows a guy who can get us into Ernesto de la Cruz's Sunrise Spectacular. Ernesto's my old partner. He'll bless you for sure, and then we both win. Miguel's eyes go star-shaped. Ernesto de la Cruz, his idol. The man whose movies he has watched until the reels wore thin. The possibility makes his fingers tingle, but first they need to visit Chicharron, a grumpy old skeleton in a run-down nursing home for the forgotten. The hallways smell of dust and old flowers. Chich plays a bitter chord on his battered guitar, muttering that Hector still owes him for a long-ago borrowed van. Hector shrugs sheepishly, then kneels and sings Chich's favorite song, voice raw and beautiful, full of longing. Chicharron's bones glow one last time, he smiles, hands over a couple of borrowed items, and then, quietly, dissolves into golden dust. Final death. The room is silent, except for the soft rustle of dust settling. Hector stares at the empty chair, jaw trembling. "He was the last one who remembered me," he whispers. Feel that small ache bloom in your own chest, tender and clean. Have you ever been afraid that one day no one will speak your name anymore? Let Hector hold that fear for you tonight, so you can sleep without it. Miguel reaches out and touches Hector's arm bone, cool and smooth, like river stone. "I'll remember you," he says, and means it with every cell of his living body. Hector blinks fast, painted tears unshed, and ruffles Miguel's hair with bony fingers that somehow feel gentle. "You're a good kid, chamaco." Outside, the night deepens to a velvet indigo. They walk together toward the towering mansion of Ernesto de la Cruz, its windows blazing with party lights, music spilling out like liquid gold. Hector steps slow. "Listen, Miguel, maybe it's better if you go in alone. Ernesto and we had a falling out." But Miguel won't hear it. He grabs Hector's hand, bones clicking softly, and together, with Dante bouncing ahead, they step toward the brightest light in the entire land of the dead, not knowing yet that the brightest light can sometimes cast the darkest shadows. Rest your head a little heavier now. Feel the marigold petals still clinging to your thoughts. We are only halfway across the bridge, and already love is weaving its quiet threads around us. Breathe with me now, very slowly, in through the nose, out through the mouth, as though you are sipping the cool night air of the land of the dead itself. The party at Ernesto de la Cruz's mansion spills down the grand staircase like liquid starlight. Trumpets curl through the air. Skirts of skeleton dancers swirl in bright reds and turquoises, and the scent of champagne made from distilled memories floats everywhere, sweet, fizzy, slightly metallic. The marble floors are so highly polished that Miguel can see his own living face reflected upside down beneath the bones of the guests, a strange reminder that he is still half in one world and half in another. Every footstep makes a soft clack-clack of bone on marble, like gentle wooden rain sticks, and the sound is oddly comforting, rhythmic, sleepy. Hector hangs back near a potted cactus, tugging nervously at his frayed jacket. "Just tell Ernesto you're my great-great-grandson," he whispers, voice cracking with hope and fear at the same time. "He'll love you. Everyone loves him." Miguel nods, but he feels the weight of the lie already settling on his tongue like bitter cacao. Still, he squares his small shoulders and walks straight into the golden glow. Inside the grand ballroom, Ernesto de la Cruz stands on a dais, larger than life even in death, his suit impossibly white, his smile impossibly wide, his voice booming through the room like warm thunder. Mi gente, tonight we celebrate life and the memories that keep us alive. The crowd erupts in cheers that rattle the chandeliers of crystal bones. Ernesto spots Miguel almost immediately, because a living boy glows differently. Softer, warmer, like a candle among light bulbs. A living child! At my party! Come, come, tell me your name, pequeño. Miguel's heart is beating so loudly he is sure the entire land of the dead can hear it. He stammers, Miguel. Rivera and I think you knew my great-great-grandfather Héctor. Ernesto's painted eyebrows lift in polite curiosity, nothing more. The name clearly means nothing to him. But the crowd loves a story, and Ernesto loves an audience. Within minutes, Miguel is swept onto the stage, a spotlight bathing him in warm amber. Ernesto hands him a guitar, the very same white skull guitar from the mausoleum, now gleaming and perfectly tuned. Show us what you've got, Mijo. Miguel's fingers tremble, but the moment the strings touch his skin, everything else disappears. He begins to play Everyone Knows Juanita, the silly, naughty song Héctor taught him in the alley. The room explodes in laughter and applause. Ernesto lifts Miguel onto his shoulders as if the boy weighs nothing, parading him around while photographers' flashbulbs pop like tiny fireworks. For one dazzling moment, Miguel feels exactly like the star he has always dreamed of being. Feel that rush of warmth in your own chest, the sudden lightness, the way joy can make the body forget it ever needed sleep. Later, in Ernesto's private penthouse high above the city, the noise fades to a gentle hum. The windows show the entire land of the dead spread out like a glittering circuit board of souls. Ernesto pours sparkling memory water into crystal glasses that clink with soft bell sounds. He tells stories of his glory days, gesturing grandly, his cufflinks flashing. Miguel drinks it all in, eyes shining, until he dares to ask the question burning inside him. Were you and Héctor really partners? Ernesto's smile freezes for the tiniest fraction of a second, just long enough for a careful listener to notice. Héctor? Ah, yes. A talented man, but unreliable. Left me to go home to his family. I had to move on without him. The words are smooth, rehearsed, but they land inside Miguel like cold stones. Trivia slips in here, soft as a secret. Did you know that Anthony Gonzalez, the 12-year-old who voiced Miguel, had never been in a recording studio before? On his very first day, he sang Un Poco Loco live, while the animators watched, and every single person in the room cried. The raw, pure joy in his voice is actually his real voice. No tricks, no auto-tune. That authenticity is why your heart believes every note Miguel sings. Downstairs, Héctor has been caught trying to sneak in again. Security skeletons drag him toward the doors. Miguel watches from the balcony, horror rising. Héctor calls out, "Miguel! The photo! Please!" Something inside Miguel cracks open. He sees the desperation in Héctor's painted eyes, the way his bones are literally starting to flake away like old plaster. Miguel suddenly understands. Ernesto will never help Héctor. Ernesto doesn't even remember him. Without thinking, Miguel grabs Hector's crumpled photo from his pocket and bolts down the marble stairs, Dante barking at his heels. The chase is on. They race through the mansion corridors lined with Ernesto's memorabilia, past gold records and movie posters, past the giant statue of Ernesto holding the famous guitar. Security guards clatter after them. Miguel and Hector leap over banquet tables, slide down banisters, petals and confetti swirling in their wake. At one point, Hector throws a bottle of glowing tequila. It explodes into harmless fireworks that spell "Viva la vida" in the air. The whole sequence feels like a dream you never want to wake from. Bright, breathless, full of impossible love. They burst out onto a balcony overlooking a quiet canal far below. There is nowhere left to run. Ernesto steps out, smile gone. Voice suddenly low and dangerous. "You took something that belongs to me, didn't you, boy?" He reaches for the photo. Miguel clutches it to his chest. In that moment, the final piece clicks. The guitar in all the old films has a distinctive skull painted on the headstock, exactly like the one Hector used to own. The songs Ernesto made famous, "Remember Me," "The World es mi familia," they were never his. Hector wrote them. Hector sang them first. Hector was murdered for them. Ernesto's face changes. The charming mask drops. He lunges. Hector steps in front of Miguel protectively, bones rattling with fury for the first time. "You took everything from me, amigo." Ernesto shrugs, almost bored. The world doesn't remember losers. Then, with terrifying calm, he plucks Miguel's petal blessing from his pocket, the one Hector had tried to give earlier, and crushes it in his fist. Golden dust drifts away like dying fireflies. Without the petal, Miguel cannot return home before sunrise. Ernesto signals the guards. Hector and Miguel are lifted, struggling, and thrown over the edge into the dark water of the canal far below. They fall in slow motion, marigold petals swirling around them like slow golden snow. The water is shockingly cold. Black ink shot through with tiny lights, like swimming inside the night sky itself. They sink deeper and deeper until they land with a soft thud in a vast underground cenote, a sunken pit of forgotten souls. The air here is damp and cool, smelling of wet stone and centuries of tears. Broken alabrijes lie scattered. Bones lie in piles, slowly dissolving into dust. This is where the forgotten go to fade forever. Hector lands hard, one arm bone cracking. He tries to stand, but pain flickers across his face paint. Miguel kneels beside him, tears finally coming. "I'm sorry. I should have listened to you from the beginning." Hector's voice is barely a whisper now, bones dimming. "It's okay, chamaco. You gave me the best day I've had in decades." Miguel shakes his head fiercely. "No, we're getting out. And we're putting your photo on that ofrenda. I promise." Have you ever realized, far too late, that the person you idolized was never worthy of your love? Let that disappointment dissolve gently tonight, like sugar in warm tea. It hurts, but it also makes room for something truer. In the darkness of the cenote, Hector finally tells the full story, voice cracking with every word, how he and Ernesto toured together, how he wrote every hit song while missing his wife Imelda and baby Coco more each day, how he decided to leave the tour and go home, how Ernesto offered him one last drink for the road, how he woke up dying, clutching his stomach, how Ernesto walked away with the guitar and the songbook and never looked back, Remember Me was never a love song to the world. It was a lullaby Hector wrote for his daughter Coco, the last thing he ever finished. The truth hangs in the damp air, heavy and sacred. Miguel hugs Hector's fragile bones, careful, so careful. And in that embrace, something shifts. The cenote walls begin to glow faintly with marigold light. Someone is coming. Someone fierce and unstoppable, wearing a wide purple dress and an expression that could shatter stone. But that is for the next whisper. For now, rest here in the quiet darkness with them. Let the cold stone cradle you. Let the distant drip, drip, drip of water be your lullaby. Nothing is lost forever. Not love, not music, not you. Let the darkness of the cenote soften now, like the moment just before dawn, when the sky forgets it was ever black. A fierce violet glow begins to rise from the depths, accompanied by the sharp, rhythmic tap-tap-tap of heeled boots on wet stone. Imelda Rivera descends the crumbling staircase, chin high, dress swirling like a storm cloud made of amethyst silk, her skeletal face painted with the same proud lines she wore in life. Behind her marched the entire Rivera clan, Papa Julio round and gentle, Tia Rosita giggling nervously, the towering twins Oscar and Felipe with their identical mustaches bristling, all of them glowing with righteous fury and unstoppable love. Even the Alebrejes have come. Pepita, Imelda's massive spirit guide, lands with a low, rumbling purr that vibrates through the stone and straight into your sleepy bones. Her emerald feathers shimmer, her eagle eyes soften when they land on Miguel. Imelda's voice is steel wrapped in velvet. I have spent decades teaching this family that music only brings pain, but tonight I learned it can also bring my family back together. She kneels, surprisingly tender, and cups Miguel's living cheek with cool bone fingers. I was wrong, Micho. Love is louder than any curse. The words tremble in the air like candle flames refusing to go out. Hector, half faded on the ground, tries to shrink away, ashamed. Imelda, I never meant to leave you. I was coming home. Imelda's painted eyes fill with tears that do not fall. She touches the cracked place where his arm bone broke, and the fracture glows softly, knitting itself whole again. I know, mi amor, I know now. The reunion is quiet, almost shy after a century apart. Yet it fills the entire cenote with warmth, the kind that reaches even the most forgotten corners, and makes the dust of lost souls sparkle for a moment. Have you ever been forgiven for something you thought would haunt you forever? Let that mercy settle over your heart tonight, like the softest blanket. Let it breathe for you. There is no time to waste. Sunrise is approaching in the land of the living, and Héctor is almost transparent. Pepita lowers her massive winged body, so the entire family can climb aboard. Miguel clings to Hector's remaining solid hand as they soar upward, out of the pit, over the glowing city, past Ernesto's mansion where the party has turned to chaos. The stolen songs have been exposed by a film reel Miguel secretly sent rolling across the stage. The crowd boos. Ernesto's statue topples. His name is already fading from posters like mist burned away by morning. They race toward the marigold bridge just as the first pale rays touch the horizon. Imelda presses a fresh marigold petal into Miguel's palm. Go home, Mijo. But this time the blessing comes with no conditions. Sing. Love. Remember us. She kisses his forehead, forehead bone cool and smelling faintly of the lavender water she wore in life. One by one, the family hugs him. Papa Julio's belly soft even in skeleton form, the twins ruffling his hair with identical gentle pats, Tia Victoria offering a proud nod. Hector hangs back, trying to smile. Miguel turns to him, fierce and tear-streaked. "You're coming too. I'm putting your photo up tonight, your family." Hector shakes his head, fading faster now. "It's too late, chamaco. Coco, she's the last one who remembers me, if she forgets." His voice cracks into golden dust. Imelda steps forward, eyes blazing. "Then we make her remember." She places her hand over Hector's heart bones. Together. The blessing is spoken in perfect unison, voices overlapping like the softest chord. Miguel Rivera, we bless you to return to the land of the living with no conditions. The petal glows blindingly bright. Miguel feels himself pulled backward through light and petals and music and tears. The last thing he sees is Hector reaching for him, mouth forming the word Coco, with all the love left in the universe. He wakes with a gasp on the cold floor of Ernesto's mausoleum, morning light streaming through stained glass windows, painting the marble in gentle pinks and golds. The white guitar lies beside him, now just an ordinary instrument. Dawn is breaking. Dia de los Muertos is almost over. Miguel runs barefoot through the empty streets of Santa Cecilia, lungs burning, clutching Héctor's crumpled photo against his heart. The village is quiet, ofrenda still fragrant with copal and marigolds. He bursts into the Rivera courtyard, just as the family is beginning to take down decorations. Abuelita Elena stands over Mamá Coco's rocking chair, gently removing the marigold garland from her lap. Coco is motionless, eyes distant, breath shallow. Miguel drops to his knees in front of her. "Mamá Coco, please, I met Papa Hector. He wrote this for you." His voice breaks. He picks up the old family guitar that has been hidden in the attic all these years, and begins to strum the first notes of Remember Me, the lullaby version, slow and trembling, the one Hector sang in the cenote with tears in his painted eyes. At first there is only silence. Then Coco's papery hand twitches. Her milky eyes focus. A tear slips down her wrinkled cheek. Very softly, so softly only Miguel can hear, she begins to hum along. Then words come, cracked and ancient, but perfect. "Remember me, though I have to say goodbye." The entire family freezes. Abuelita's wooden spoon clatters to the ground. One by one they gather closer, eyes wide, hearts open. Miguel keeps playing, voice gaining strength, pouring every ounce of love he felt in the land of the dead into each note. Coco reaches into her apron pocket and pulls out a torn piece of paper she has kept hidden for nearly a century. The missing corner of Hector's photograph, the part with his face. She presses it against the photo Miguel holds. The pieces fit perfectly. "Papa," she whispers, smiling for the first time in years, a smile so bright it could light the whole village. The family erupts into tears and laughter and hugs that feel like coming home after 1,000 years away. Trivia, whispered gently, the song Remember Me won the Oscar in 2018, but the version that makes everyone cry hardest is the lullaby, the one sung by Hector and later by Miguel. Kristen Anderson Lopez and Robert Lopez wrote 17 different versions before they found the one that felt like a real father singing to his little girl. They recorded it in a tiny studio with the lights dimmed, and even the sound engineers were sobbing. 1 year later, the Rivera courtyard is alive with music again. Guitars rest against every wall. Children dance. Abuelita Elena strums a gentle rhythm while smiling indulgently. Mamá Coco sits in her chair, eyes bright, singing every word of every song. Héctor's photo proudly holds center place on the ofrenda, surrounded by fresh marigolds. And in the land of the dead, Héctor stands on the marigold bridge at sunrise, no longer faded, no longer alone, waving joyfully as living families call his name. Have you ever watched love repair what seemed broken forever? Let that quiet miracle rock you deeper into sleep now. Let it hold every tired part of you. The circle is complete. The curse is lifted. The music is free. Let the last notes of the guitar fade now, soft, softer, until they are only a faint vibration inside your chest, like a heartbeat that belongs to someone who loves you very much. The courtyard in Santa Cecilia has grown quiet again. The sun has dipped below the adobe roofs, leaving the sky the color of warm peach skin. A single marigold petal drifts down from the ofrenda and lands on the back of your hand, weightless, cool, smelling faintly of earth after rain. Stay with that scent for a moment. Let it remind you that every beautiful thing you have ever lost is still traveling, quietly, patiently, until it finds its way back into your arms. In the hush, Mamá Coco's rocking chair creaks once, twice, the gentlest lullaby rhythm. She is humming now, the same lullaby Héctor once hummed to her when she was small enough to fit inside his coat pocket. The tune is so soft it feels like moonlight made audible. If you listen very carefully, you can hear other voices joining hers. Imelda's proud alto, Julio's warm baritone, the twins laughing in harmony, even Pepita's low, purring growl that somehow turns into a note of perfect peace. And underneath them all, Héctor's voice, no longer cracked or fading, singing, "Remember me," not as a plea, but as a promise kept. Feel how full the air can be when it is filled with love instead of fear. Breathe it in. Let it settle behind your eyes, behind your heart, behind every place that has ever felt empty or too heavy. Trivia, whispered like a bedtime secret just for you. When the filmmakers screened the finished movie for Mexican audiences for the first time, entire theaters sat in complete silence for several minutes after the credits ended, then erupted into the longest, loudest applause the screening room had ever heard. Grown men cried openly. Grandmothers clutched their grandchildren and said, "That was my papa up there." The film didn't just entertain. It healed something ancient, and still does, every single time someone watches it with a tired heart and lets the music in. And now, one final gentle question, the softest one of all. Who in your life, living or long gone, would smile the widest if they knew you were thinking of them right now? In this quiet moment before sleep, whisper their name inside your mind, just once, like placing a photo on an ofrenda no one else can see. Say it with the same tenderness Miguel used when he sang to Coco. Feel how the name glows, how it makes the darkness friendlier, how it turns the night into a bridge instead of wall. The rain outside your window has slowed to the gentlest drizzle, each drop a tiny marigold kiss against the glass. Let it wash away anything still clinging to you that is not love. Let the guitar strings in the distance unwind into silence. Let Dante's happy sigh as he curls at Miguel's feet become your own exhale. You do not have to hold on to the story anymore. It will stay with you, tucked safely behind your ribs, ready to warm you whenever the world feels too cold or too fast. Héctor is remembered. Coco is at peace. Miguel is home. And you are exactly as you are. Tired eyes, messy heart, beautiful soul, are deeply, perfectly remembered tonight. Let your body grow heavy, heavier, like sinking into warm river water lit from within by marigold light. Let your thoughts turn into glowing idolizes that fly away across the sky, carrying every worry with them. Let my voice be the last thing you feel before drifting. A soft hand brushing hair from your forehead. A whisper that says, "You did well today. You are safe. You are loved beyond measure. Sleep now, mi amigo, mi familia, and dream of bridges made of petals and songs that wait for you every single night. Good night. Buenas noches. Remember me, but only gently, only sweetly, only until morning.